Yeah. Let's talk. Let's open his mind as well, because information is moving everywhere, right? But at the same time, it's also helping scripturally. Matthew 24, verse 3 to about 7 or 8, where Jesus was asked 3 basic questions. When shall be these things? When shall be the sign? What shall be the sign of thy coming? End of the world.
Yes. Yeah.
So we are here as the bride.
Yes.
We see the preliminaries of these things. This staying home that we are doing is just a preview of what is going to happen, because we are getting into a mode of the squeeze.
That's right.
And God is preparing you to say, when you get in there, relaxed as you are you able then to make it? Like myself, I was not prepared technically or with the church, because we were just meeting physically. But now all the 600 people are dotted across the country.
Yeah.
And for 21 days, you cannot access them, you cannot talk to them other than by phone.
Yeah.
So this, to me, it then brought an awakening and a preparedness for our people now. We started to realign, consulting, with Andrew, and also Third Exodus. But let me come to what I was saying. The first question happened already, the encompassing of Jerusalem by Titus and its destruction. Right? But the other signs of your coming, what shall be the other signs of your coming? Of which there is where we begin to see a myriad of things.
Mm-hmm.
You see, we begin to see the 4 horses at play here. Ezekiel 14 speaks of them from verse 12 there. He says, if people have a grievous sin against me,
yes,
I will unleash things that will curb the source of bread. But when you say the source of bread, what are you saying? You are disturbing the economy. When you speak of the economy, you're already on your third horse, which is famine. But when you talk of famine is is something that has a very broad definition, because in famine, you are basically talking of the economy. If I'm saying the economy, it means my industry is not functioning well. Because the sources, they've been hit from the trumpets way back when they were happening there in Revelation 8. The forests have been disturbed. The soil has been disturbed. The water has been disturbed. And it's coming on, until now it reaches people on the 3 walls. You see? So those things now, when the forests are disturbed, the lumber companies, they started to dwindle. Right? It went on to the marine. A large chunk of our people lost employment. The waters themselves in the rivers, a large chunk of our people lost employment. Until everything, like in our country, we're now having about 95% unemployment.
This meeting is being recorded.
When we want to talk of a famine, there's already a problem here. Our people are experiencing a famine, not because of bad structures. Government policies, they just become a drop in an ocean. To just add on to that. But God is already, when I'm saying, before the coming of him the second time, these things you must watch them totally and completely. So our nation already is on its knees. Our nation already has suffered famine, and by that I mean starvation. I mean there is drought because the trees have been cut. There is population explosion, which you know from around the world. It's 7.08 billion. But Henry Kissinger also, the time he was in power, he was saying the world must be depopulated from where it is to a lower number, to about 3 billion. By then it was about 5 billion. To a lower number, to about 3 billion. Because that same world is not elastic.
Yes.
Is not expanding. Because they say by 2100, the total population that we'll be having in the world will be anything between 15 and 18 billion. Right? They've tried to disturb the molecules. And Brother Branham, of course, he says when we disturb the molecules, you disturb the earth, then it rises against you. They've tried to give us a large cope, but the way the population is rising, they can't cope with that. And they've also tried. America, around Christmas, they sent about 2 girls to Mars to say, find out if, we can live there. We've been already to the moon. We've made our tests. Try and plant something. That can we do gardens from Mars? Continuously being overpopulated like that, it means it will become a desert all of a sudden, right? Means of production becomes very minimal because of what has been happening. But remember also, when we have wars trigger to us quite a lot of things. Your 1918 influenza, something was triggered there, and it affected the whole world. Influenza affected the whole world in 4 months or so, killing about 17 million people and affecting about 500 million people. This was the influenza, a worldwide thing that just went viral across. And when you look in Ezekiel, he says, I'll send pestilence. But if you take the other Bible, what do they call it? This one, it says a virulent disease. A virulent disease speaks of a virus.
Yeah, that's true.
And when you come into Revelation, it says pestilence. You see? So we begin to see those things now shaping up, taking shape in our time before we even go. But we know we are not entering into the tribulation, but we'll see we are in a pre-tribulation period, whereby these things that are to be unleashed, we see them in a half measure. But remember also, nations are beginning to prepare now. A church in India, Brother Nati, was sued for attending church when there is a lockdown. We had it here on the platform. Yeah, Brother Andrew, we were talking to Brother Nati, Nati's father.
The father was arrested yesterday.
What do I want to say here? They are saying you are breaking the law. You see? You are breaking the law. And another government minister was saying, for us to manage a one government order is going into one thing already. Because they are saying, we have not managed to manage this because the commands are different. The one in Russia is saying this, the one in America is saying this, the one in Zimbabwe is saying this.
There are many commands.
Yes. So why don't we have a one government? And above it, who can say among the leaders can solve these problems? They will have to choose a neutral guy whom they will think it's a pop here. We are going towards it. I've just said a little so that, Shiveka is ready to really bombard us with a lot. Go ahead, Shiveka.
No, that's what you're saying.
Simon
is very good. I've liked the way you've said it, man. You've really gone through the Bible within a very short time. You've gone to Revelation, you've gone to the book of Ezekiel, and that's the truth of the matter. What I'm believing, like you've just said, can you imagine how much time you've taken? You've taken a short time to say something that could be spoken for hours. But you've like handed over keys and things like that. So I tend to think even right now, God is sort of dealing with our brains, I would want to call it brain, but it's actually the spirit. He's switching in the mode to be able to capture this all at once and to be able to understand it all at once. So I've really liked the way you've looked at it. Because when you look about how Egypt went down, Egypt went down on the plagues that came there. They affected the economy. You can imagine how it's climbing. From the fish industry, because all the fishes died, then there were people who were laid off. God was actually dealing with the economy of the land. And then from there, you went to agricultural products, And then there were people who were laid off because there was no, there was the grasshoppers and the hailstones, destroying the products and things like that. So from the meat industry, from the fish industry, went to agricultural industry, and then went to meat industry, So you can imagine how that country went down, that Joseph had actually built the country. Joseph actually built the country to a cashless society. The devil doesn't have anything original. He always copies. So if we have our Joseph here, the devil also studied the economy of God. He studied that kind of economy as he's using that, because that one also brought all the people under the feet of Pharaoh. It was the technology that Joseph had discovered, and he sent the world into a cashless society. And it wasn't cashless in the sense that you cannot touch money because it has a virus. But the Bible says money failed. When the money failed, there was something that was working. So it was a way of now we don't have money, we don't have land. So we are going to be given some grants. We are going to be given some government stimulus, and everyone belonged to Egypt. Not to Egypt. Everyone that time belonged to Pharaoh. So if you had a house, there was a mortgage on it. If there was anything, everything belonged to Pharaoh. He would do with it whatever you wanted. But the brain behind the economy was a super economy in the world. In the days of the plague, the country went down. It went down this season. We have a problem. We cannot sustain employment. In the fish industry, we cannot sustain employment. In the agriculture industry, and all that. So the country was going back to the knee. And that was shortly before Israel came out of that land. There was a recession in Israel, in Egypt, when the firstborn was being saved. And the Bible calls us, we are the church of the firstborn. So we've come back to the firstborn again. If you've come back to the firstborn, then the economy is going to fail because of this firstborn, because of the love, because the firstborn has a token. And I want to say this. I believe you ministers and the people have been able to talk to 2 or 3 people about the word of God. We've been applying the token secretly to the people. It's not something that the eyes can see, but I believe that thing has really been going on. I don't know whether I can talk something here. Well, I'm going ahead of myself. Sorry?
That is what we have been waiting for. Please do.
I want to say this, that this thing is coming to me hard, but I've got 2 things to talk about. The first one, I have to pack it up with my Bible, just to follow the line that Brother Kellerman was talking about. And then I have a quotation from the message, Invasion of the United States. I'll bring it back there. But I want you to look at this, brothers. you see, one of the things that seems to have moved people a few years back, like for example, maybe 20 years or 15 or